and welcome back to my channel. This is Elise here of Plan with Elise, and today I am doing a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A in quite some time. So last week I put a box up on Instagram asking you to ask me questions. What do you want to know in all different categories? And I have a nice big list right here. So let's get started. Okay, so there are more than a few different categories. It's my apartment, budgeting, photos, planning, books, all of that. So the first, I'm just going to kind of go in order here. Some of them might be combined, but the first question was how I get so many props in photos. So there are others who do tips and tricks on taking planner photos. I don't necessarily want to be the person to share that because I don't think my photos are that great. But in terms of the props, I hold my camera up much higher. So I'm not just trying to get the planner in the desk. I'm trying to get as much as I can. And I always set on my phone, I use an iPhone 13 Pro for filming and photos. I set it to square mode so that I can see what will be shown in the shot when it comes to Instagram. So holding it much higher up is definitely helpful in terms of getting more props and items in the photo, if that makes sense. Did I come up with the cash envelope idea? I absolutely did not. I first heard about the cash envelope idea years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. My mom was like, oh, you should put this amount of money into an envelope for gas and this amount for fun and stuff like that. And I tried it briefly and was like, I don't need to budget. Well, fast forward, I found I did end up needing to budget. So I did not come up with it. I don't know who actually came up with it, but I would assume it's like very, very old. I've even seen things in Facebook groups of people whose grandparents used to do the envelope idea. Do I help others with budgeting? I hope so, and I think so. I think that some people can get a lot out of my videos. I do at least 2 budgeting videos a month. In May, I had 3 where I did a mid-month budget check-in. I plan on doing that again in June, and I'm hoping for an end-of-month budget recap in June. That's not something that's going to happen from May's budget. But I also have a tier on my Patreon, which is just for budgeting. So in that tier, you get access to a Facebook group that is only about budgeting, challenges, monthly savings challenges, and then 1 Zoom a month that's specifically about budgeting. So any questions that people have or kind of feedback, and that Zoom is a really good resource because we all kind of talk about budgets and finances, and it's become a really safe place and an amazing community. So if you are interested, that is on my Patreon. It's the $14.99 tier and up. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just speaking from my own experience with finances and budgeting and giving tips and feedback based on my experiences. How many planners do I have and how do I keep up with them? So right now I'm using a budget planner. I use a dashboard layout for all things Plan with Elise related, business and social media. I use a classic sized vertical as kind of my overall catch-all planner. And then sometimes, depending on the week, I'll also include the teacher layout in those pages for all different categories. I'm also using a big, which is kind of the same as the vertical classic. It's just that the big vertical has a lot more room to write things down, and I enjoy planning in it. I enjoy decorating it, so I'm still using it. I am using a horizontal layout for journaling. I'm not being that strict with myself. Some days I don't journal, but when I feel the need to journal and kind of write about my day, that is in there. And I'm also using a reading journal. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm like looking around my apartment here. I don't think that I'm missing anything. I do sometimes change it up. How I keep up with so many, I'm not that hard on myself. So if I don't open one of my planners one day, it's not a big deal. But I do like to open them in the morning before work starts, check in with them throughout the day a little bit, and then look at them again at night to sort of see what has to get done the next day. When I was a child, what did I want to be when I grew up? I wanted to be a teacher. Most of the people in my life are teachers, and I always wanted to be a teacher, but I went to school for it, but it never happened. Good ways to save on groceries. I'm a big advocate for planning out your grocery list and sticking to that list. So I personally would like to go onto the grocery store websites or their apps where you can download digital coupons, and I look at what's on sale, and then I base my grocery list based on what's already on sale or what I can get a digital coupon for. I also recommend, and I don't know how many people you're planning for, like meal planning for, but see how you can make food stretch. If one day, I'm trying to think of what I have in my fridge now, you want to make tacos, see if there's a way to stretch that extra meat. So I have ground chicken in my fridge. I made tacos one night. The next night I used it for taco salad, and I think I used it for the next day also. It's a little easier for me because I'm only responsible for my meals, but I think that making food stretch is really good. If you're going to buy tortillas, see what other meals you can make with tortillas besides the one night of food. What made me start planning? Okay, there's two questions. What made me start planning and what made me use Happy Planner? So these actually go hand in hand. In April of 2018, I was really stressed with work. I was using a computer all day long and I just wanted to craft. Growing up, my mom and I would often go to Michael's and Joann and always looking for the next craft. One summer we did candle making. We used to paint pottery, just really like creative outlets. And so I went to Michael's looking for a creative outlet. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but I knew it was something I wanted to do with my hands. And I was strolling along the aisles and I came across the planner aisle, and specifically Happy Planner because of all the sticker books. And I was like, wait, I can be creative with this and I can plan my life. That's like a win-win. So I wasn't necessarily saying I need a planner in my life. I wasn't really looking for that. But then when I saw it and I saw all of the accessories and that I could be really crafty and buy scrapbook paper and this and like different colored markers, even though I only use black, it really drew me to it because it was a way to be productive and plan my life and also be creative as a creative outlet, which is so much of why I enjoy putting stickers in a planner and writing things out. It's just, it feeds that creative bug for me. What items do I want for my office? Okay, so if you're new here, in May, I moved into a new apartment. So I moved to a 2-bedroom apartment so that I would have an office to be able to work in. I do have a full-time job. Plan with Elise is not my full-time job, but it's a busy job. So between both jobs, in my old apartment, I was working from my dining room, so I didn't have a dining room, and everything was visible right when you walked into my space. Now I have a bedroom that I'm in now, which is just an office. There's no bed in here. I do have another bedroom for myself. So I have ordered a couch. It's going to be a sleeper sofa so that my friends have their own houses. My niece and nephew can come stay over, or during the workday, I can move my laptop and sit on the couch if I want to. That right now is no delivery date pending. So, or no delivery date scheduled, delivery pending. I don't really know. I have bad luck when it comes to furniture deliveries, so we'll see how that works. What's also great about this office is that there's a ton of storage in a closet. There's built-ins that I've made really good use of. So in terms of other items I want for my office, I don't think anything else. I think it's just going to be the couch, and then we'll sort of see. I'm not fully unpacked yet. It's been a month. I haven't fully unpacked. When will we see a full apartment tour and an office tour? I won't be doing a full apartment tour. I showed pieces of my apartment. I've showed pictures of my living room and my kitchen, which I'm really excited about. And I even showed, I think, how I set up my bedroom. But for safety purposes, doing an entire tour of my apartment isn't something that I will be sharing. I will be sharing an office tour. First, I have to unpack, get a couch, and clean up my office. So those things have to happen first. I know that for a lot of people, they'd be like, let me unpack right away because I'm going to spend so much time in there. And I did. I still have a couple of boxes, though, that I'm just trying to figure out where things are going to go, and I'm figuring out what's going to work for me. My priority was get the rest of my apartment unpacked, get my main things unpacked, like my bookshelf and my sticker books and my planners, and then just get back to work. So in June, I'm hoping to finish my office, and then I will do an office tour. Budgeting for a new apartment and preventing yourself from spending a ton of money. So I don't need to buy anything for this apartment. Like I said, I would like to buy a couch. I would also like to eventually buy a dining set. I have right now a 2-seater and I have a full dining room, and it's just like a tiny little table from IKEA that I got on Facebook Marketplace. So I haven't really bought much moving in here. I did buy a few things. I bought a new set of plates and dishware from Target that I was really excited about. And I got just some storage items for my bathroom, but I haven't really bought a ton for this apartment. And I think that part of it is this is an expensive, change going from a 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom as a single person. So I didn't want to spend a ton of money setting it up because number one, I didn't need to. But number two, I had to prepare for the financial change. And being prepared for that meant more to me than buying all the new pretty things. The other thing too is my old apartment I moved into less than a year and a half ago. So a lot of the things I had from that apartment are new to me because it's only been a year, less than a year and a half. It's not like I've lived there for so many years and everything I had was old. When I moved there, I got a lot of pieces of furniture for free from curb alerts in my town, like people throwing them out, my bookshelf, things like that. I had my old desk. I got this standing desk as a collaboration with FlexiSpot last year. What else? My couch I purchased, my coffee table I purchased, and my bedroom furniture in terms of my dressers I purchased. And my bed was given to me from family. So everything is newer to me in the apartment. So that helped with curbing the desire to spend money. Thoughts on the new apartment? Does it meet my expectations? Have there been any surprises? It's amazing how much lighter I feel at the end of a workday being able to leave this room, close the door, and go on with my day. I didn't realize, I did realize, I was going to say I didn't realize how much stress I was feeling having all of my office and planning stuff in my space, like in my dining room. When you walk into my apartment, it was the first thing you saw. But I did realize how much it was stressing me out because I was on the lookout for a new apartment. I originally didn't think I'd be able to move until December, which is the end of my lease, but I stayed within the same apartment complex. So I just moved across the courtyard. This was a very easy move. And because it was within the same property management company, I had to pay a lease transfer fee. And then I was able to move into the apartment without breaking my lease. I just started a new one May 1st. So my old lease went from December to December. My new one goes from May to May. I'm enjoying having a window at my desk. Since my old office was my dining room, I didn't have it. Well, this dining room has windows. My old one did not. So I'm really enjoying being able to kind of look outside as I'm working and just have the windows I'm really liking. There's also a lot of storage in the apartment, and I'm so happy I made this change. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, just, I don't know, being sad about leaving my old apartment. I get very sentimental to spaces, but I'm so happy that I made this change. It was the right move for me. What to do and not to do when budgeting. So I often say there's no rules when it comes to budgeting besides your own rules. So what to do in budgeting, the first thing would definitely be to decide why you want to budget. Do you want to budget so that you have more money to spend on maybe vacation? Do you want to budget so that you can prepare for retirement? Do you want to budget to get out of debt? Do you want to budget to not to live paycheck to paycheck? There's so many different reasons that people want to start a budget, and that has to be the first thing, is knowing why you want to do it. Because if you don't know why you want to do it, it's going to be really hard to stick with it. So that's my to-do. Second to-do is the first step to creating a budget. Write down your income, then write down your expenses, and do the math. If your expenses are more than your income, you have to either reduce your expenses somehow or earn more money. If they are less than your income, you're in good shape. Now it's a matter of what do you want to do with the rest of the money? Do you want it to go into an emergency fund? Do you have money for an emergency? Are you prepared with $1,000 or more? Some people aren't comfortable with $1,000 savings. But if something happens, are you prepared for that? Do you want to save for retirement? Do you want to start saving for the holidays so that you don't get hit with a big credit card bill come November, December? So then it's really just a matter of where do you want that extra money to go. Budgeting isn't about limiting yourself. It's about giving yourself the freedom to spend and save your money the way that you want to. The what not to do when it comes to budgeting. My biggest recommendation is being careful with sinking funds. I love sinking funds. I have a video all about them if you want to go check it out. But basically, a sinking fund is saving for something that you know will happen. So the two examples I give, one is Christmas. You know that Christmas is coming, and if you celebrate, and you'll be putting aside money each month or each quarter so that when that comes, the money is already there for you to spend. Another example is a membership, perhaps Amazon Prime, that's like $120 or so. You know that your membership will renew on September 1st of every year, so you could put aside $10 a month for 12 months, and once that bill comes, you have the money saved. The third example is maintenance. I said that weird. Maintenance. So if you have a car, your car is going to need work at some point. Maybe it's a brand new car, but if you hit a pothole and your tire goes out, which mine did recently, I had two nails. I don't remember if it was 2 or 3 tires that I had to replace. Even though my car is only a year old, things happen. So I have a car maintenance sinking fund so that when something happens, I have that money set aside specifically for my car. If you are a homeowner, things break. You may need a new hot water heater. There could be a leak, things like that. Not everything is covered by insurance. So those are sinking funds. It's funds that you set aside specifically for certain categories of your life. The what not to do is get really excited about sinking funds and make a million. Maybe you wanted to do back to school clothes for the kids and Christmas and Easter and the 4th of July barbecues that you're going to have and Christmas and home maintenance and car maintenance and dental care and prescriptions and makeup. It's too many, because with that many, you're not going to be able to make a dent in any of them. You're just going to be putting a few dollars here and there. So my top recommendation is to start with what's coming first and what's most important. If we were in October and you wanted a Christmas sinking fund, I'd say, yes, start right now. In June, I don't know that that would be my top goal in terms of saving for Christmas, because you still have 5 months. The other would be, do you have things saved? Are you ready for an emergency? Like I said, if you don't, that would be a really big priority in terms of where to start. So the not to do, again, is don't start with too many sinking funds. Just think about what's going to be the most important to get you going. Let's get back here. How to recharge your passion for planning and using your supplies. If you're finding yourself in a planner funk or a planner rut, I did do a video on that in December. I was part of a group that did it, I think, every day of December. My recommendation is just to use like this, a piece of paper and a pen, and write down what needs to get done, so that while you may not be decorative planning or however it is that you plan, you'll still be planning because you're going to be writing down your to-dos. If you're looking to find the passion again when it comes to decorating, maybe don't decorate a weekly spread. Maybe print out some pictures and do a little bit of memory keeping, or write down things you love about planning. Go through your supplies and find something that you forgot about and you were so excited to buy originally, and bring that love back into it. Just kind of play with your planner. Just have fun with it. What is my greatest budgeting achievement? So in 2018, I leased a car, but I didn't have a good enough credit score to lease it on my own. So my mom had to co-sign for me, which wasn't something I loved in 2018. I was 30 or 31. Not great at math. Good at budgeting, not great at math. And my mom had to co-sign on it for me. And every month when I paid my bill, I forwarded her the email with the bill payment confirmation. So she knew, because she was very kind to co-sign. Thanks, Mom, if you're watching. Last year, I got a new car and I did not need my mom as a co-signer. So the changes that I made in budgeting and paying off my debt were enough to improve my credit score to the point that I no longer needed a co-signer. And that's a really big achievement for me. I'd also say that there's just daily achievements. So being able to buy someone a present that I think is special, and being able to, when things come up, I'm not nervous about them. I'm not as scared about them as I used to be in terms of the financial impact. So an example that I often share is when someone passes away and you want to send a gift or flowers or something like that. Flowers can be really expensive and that can add up really quickly. And there have been times in the past where I've sent flowers and then wondered, what bill am I not going to be able to pay because of this? So just having that like peace and just knowing that I can afford those things because I've prepared for them is really important to me. How long did it take me to be debt free? A little bit less than a year. I did a debt consolidation plan. I didn't know anything about debt and debt payoffs and debt consolidation. I'm not entirely sure that I would do the same this time around if I were in debt again, but um, it took a little bit less than a year. How am I? I'm good. I'm good. I'm feeling really excited about June. I'm feeling excited about this summer, feeling excited about my new apartment and kind of bringing some more balance into my life. My word for 2022 is intentional, and I want to be intentional with my time, with my home, with the love that I give, with the words that I say. So I'm good. Thank you for asking. My favorite Happy Planner sticker book. My original favorite was Colorful Boxes, volume 1, like the light blue cover. My current favorite is probably Black and White because I can't resist it. Favorite small shop book. I love Neutral Basics by Kelva Plan, and I love A Year of Planning by Whimsy Lux. They're both two really good basic books. My favorite sticker books will always be the basics that I can use anytime. They're usually going to have some black and white in there as well. What book would I recommend? So I do have a video coming up next week of my May reading journal, which has been a collaboration all year long with my friend Jess of Knit Plan Jess. But fresh in my mind right now are two books that I read in May. So I'm going to recommend a fiction one and a nonfiction one. The fiction one is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and it's a really good book. I have been waiting for it for a really long time, and I was so excited when it became available from my library because I try to not buy books. That's not something I really want to spend my money on, so I try to get them from the library or with my Kindle Unlimited membership. The nonfiction book I just finished reading yesterday, and it's called One Man, Three Hearts, Nine Lives. I'll link both of those below. And this is a memoir about a man who went through 2 heart transplants. That's where the 3 hearts come in. Also a kidney transplant. And it talks a lot about perspective on life and family and perseverance. And it's a really, really good book. So that's my book recommendations. How I read so many books. I'm a fast reader. I can probably read 100 pages in a little bit more than an hour. And lately I've been choosing books that are around 300 pages, sometimes less, sometimes more. So if I put in an hour of reading a day, that can usually be like 3 days and the book is finished. I usually read in the morning before I start work. Sometimes during my lunch break, while I'm eating, I'll read, or if a video is uploading, and then also after work. I find a lot of joy in reading. I loved it as a kid. And so I know that if I'm sitting down with a good book, I'm going to be happy, and I'm intentional about reading. It's not a race. I'm just really enjoying the books that I'm reading. Did I have any idea what planning would become for me? No, I had no idea. I think that it all just kind of happened. Like, I loved sharing my planners on Instagram. And so that first year when SCOT applications came up, I applied and I didn't make it. This was my 3rd time applying. And then in 2020, I was like, I have a lot of free time. Maybe I'll start a YouTube channel. And it all just kind of happened. So I had no idea that it would become a business for me at any point. I also had no idea that I would make some amazing planner friends and travel the country to see them and travel with them and go wild. And I'm going to another planner conference in November. So it's been amazing. And I had no idea that this would happen. My favorite layout is a vertical layout. I know that that's a common answer, but I feel like with a vertical layout, you can do anything. You could just separate them into like morning, afternoon, and evening, which I think they used to be labeled that way. You could go outside the box and put stickers over the boxes like I often do. What I love about the vertical is every spread can look different. Sometimes I get bored when I'm filming videos with my dashboard layout because I feel like all of my dashboard spreads look the same based on how I use the planner. But with the vertical, big and classic, I feel like anything is possible. Tips for growing on Instagram and YouTube. Okay, so let me say first that YouTube growth is slower than Instagram. I find that even as I'm growing, the growth slows down. Like there are certain times of year or certain months where the growth is more and more people are looking for planner videos. But the YouTube growth, I would say just be consistent in sharing your content and also cross promote, share on Instagram, share in Facebook groups. Don't be spammy, just find an even balance for sharing. Instagram, I don't know. Right now, Instagram is not being shy about the fact that they are pushing out reels. So it's like TikTok, but short videos. And I find that when I do consistently post reels, my following grows more. Unfortunately, it doesn't really feel like a photo sharing platform anymore. I'm still sharing pictures of my planners. I'm still sharing photos of my life, but photos alone, I'm not sure are enough to promote that growth because it's not going to reach as much of a new potential audience as reels are. So that might change, right? Like a year ago, no, maybe not a year, a couple of years ago, it was only a photo sharing platform. And then they were pushing out Instagram lives and then IGTV and all of these kinds of things. Right now, it's in reels. And so my tip on growing would be to post reels, but my main tip when it comes to growth on Instagram, YouTube, really any social channel is just find the joy in what you're doing. I'm still enjoying sharing it all. I'm still enjoying filming videos and posting. And if there's a time that I don't enjoy it anymore, I'm not doing it anymore. So if you are genuinely joyful about what you're doing and sharing it and passionate about it, that will come through and others will see it as well. So those are all the questions. I can't believe we actually got through them all. I wasn't entirely sure that we would, but thank you to everyone who put a question in. If you have a question that you want me to answer in a future video, put it as a comment here in this video so that I know. I'm going to try to do these maybe once a month or so. I haven't done them in quite some time, but thank you for watching and thank you for your support, and I will see you next time.